All right. Welcome back to Simply Trade Tips with Hammer and Heels, better known as Renee Chiuchiarelli and Julie Parks. How you doing, Jules?
I'm good. How are you
Good.
doing, Renee?
Doing well today. As always, Julie and I will leave you with an FIO, figure it out. We're keeping them tight, the episodes. We might get a little long here and there, but we try to keep them really quick bits of awesome information for you guys. So anyway, what are we talking about? We're on series 7, Julie.
I know it's
What are
been
we
7
talking
amazing
about?
series. Okay, so you think that we
7?
could run out of things to talk about, but we don't. And I think we should talk about how do you shift your team from being tactical to a more strategic kind of mature organization. So I think this series will kind of cover that piece. And I think here, what we probably want to spend some time on is defining like what is tactical work and what is strategic work. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Perfect.
So here,
Um,
trade teams are buried in transactions and firefighting and data cleanup. Companies expect trade to contribute to cost control and resilience and risk mitigation. And the core question that we all ask is, are we processing trade or are we leading it? Right. So,
yes. So I think this is going to go really well with our series 6 too, Julie's the org structures. But anyway, just so you guys know, you might want to step back to 6 and take a listen there. But why tactical work is necessary, as we know, but as Julie mentioned, it's reactive. Some examples of tactical work. So we're going to give you some specific examples. Entry processing, data corrections. Actually, there'll be a lot of data corrections coming soon, huh? In our entries. Classification lookups without a root cause review, broker email triage, going back and forth, document retrieval and audit response scrambling. So it's very reactive. Manual screening and rework, fixing after release. So you're just kind of, like we said, very reactive mode. Some of the characteristics are transaction focused, as you can see based on what we just talked about, time sensitive and repetitive, often manual and reactive in firefighting. That's
yeah,
our
I like your
tactical.
firefighting. I like your firefighting because you never feel like you're getting ahead because you're fighting those fires. So let me cover a little bit of kind of what is strategic trade work. So this is kind of the value creation piece for the organization, the being proactive, and kind of examples here that we see is like you're actually mitigating those tariffs. So what strategies are you putting in play to make sure that your duties are optimized? Like this is very like an example here is like a metric of what's your effective duty rate. It's pretty mature, right, to kind of do that, those analytics globally.
Yeah.
Country of origin engineering and sourcing strategy. So really partnering with supply chain. Like there's a lot of data in trade. How are you using it to help your supply chain source appropriately or from the right place at the right time and whatnot? Um, I think trade analytics, risk pattern identification, broker governance, not just working with the broker every day, but it's kind of taking that step back and talking about, but how are you operating? Do you have a key performance indicator system to kind of measure your broker if they're on track or not? What about automation and control design? So you're not just automating for the sake of a transaction, you're building in automated controls to, hit those tripwires. So the characteristics that we want to see here is that you're preventative, you're forward looking, you're looking at data to make decisions, not feelings and prayers. Although I will say trade professionals are very in intuition. We've learned by intuition, and we're not wrong really in a lot of cases. Cross-functional influence. So this is about partnering with other functions to get to where you want to go, like we talked about, Renee, in the last episode. And I think it's about real financial and operational impacts.
Yeah, I agree. In today's environment, tactical and strategic are just the environment is demanding we do both. I remember you could like if you were stuck in tactical, and we're going to talk about that. Maybe it wouldn't be terrible. You're getting stuff done. You're moving a little bit, but today it's like you have to be strategic. So, because I went into management early in my career and I had not done a lot of tactical work. So in the last 25 years, let's say. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get back in the weeds. I've got to know how what report in ACE, ES003, I got to know how to, build the reports where I used to have people help me. So right. Yeah. So not only, do we people who do strategic need to get back to tactical, and people who do tactical need to get into strategic, because this environment that we're in is demanding it. So why do teams get stuck in a tactical mode? Understaffing, consistent operational pressure, poor quality of data requiring manual intervention. Maybe we don't have systems or tools. This is a great one, lack of documented processes and control, over reliance on email and tribal knowledge. I mean, every team that I've been in, we have a lot of reliance on tribal knowledge. Leadership is seeking trade as a transactional. That is the epitome of our industry, except for now, right? So leadership seeking transactional, not strategic of us. And then people aren't tying key performance indicators to value creation. So that's why we're getting stuck in tactical.
Yeah, I think we should talk a little bit about just what's the risk of only doing tactical, right? If you're really focused on tactical, you're going to have repeated errors. You're going to then expose yourself to audit. And then they're not just going to find the one thing, they're going to go back and find the same thing recurring throughout your process. We'll also talk about missed duty savings and optimization opportunities. Like it's just missed if you can't focus on it because you can't roll your chair back and check the data to see what it's trying to tell you. Um, also think that if you're always in tactical mode, in a lot of cases, you can't support regulatory change at the pace of regulatory change, which has been crazy in the last kind of, I guess, 2 years at this point. You can't keep up. You don't have the staff to kind of do analytics to understand business impact before a regulatory change goes in. You're reactive. We think also, burnout is really high here. Talent attrition. If somebody comes and they're focused on this and they don't kind of see the bigger picture, they're going to move on and try to find another role somewhere else, or another department. Right, another department might be a little more
Yeah.
strategic. Um, Also think too, that here what you'll find is because you're coded is doing the work, you're operational, that you're actually excluded from that strategic planning cycle that your company has. So we
Yeah.
don't want that. We want to have a balance of both. And I think through these episodes will kind of answer, well, what's the right balance and how do you get there, right?
Yeah. Our series. Listen, you got to listen to the whole series because they're going to build on each other. So, Jules, what is our FIO for this episode?
Yeah, so I think this time we want you to kind of track where your team is spending time. What projects are you working at, and kind of write them down is really where we want you to stop. And I think we'll get into the next episode about how to build maturity, but we'll refer to that list. So maybe think about documenting what is your team spending the most time on, and then we'll use that throughout these episodes.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Please come to our Trade Geeks. Tell us, are you doing your FIO? All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Renee.